Hey everyone, and welcome back. Coming up this week, Gmail gets some new Gemini powers that may actually be helpful this time. Sam Altman's dystopian new startup releases a mini app store, and an AI coding startup that's valuing itself at $10 billion, plus the usual mix of data and tools that you can use at work. As always, if you enjoy the briefing, hit the subscribe and the like button. So first up this week, everyone is talking about a new AI agent called Manus. Now, if you haven't heard of this, it hasn't quite surpassed DeepSeek on the hype front at its peak, but it's come pretty close this week. And a major reason for this hype is Manus's agentic capabilities. Now, I'm kind of sick of the word agentic, but hear me out. So, for example, it can do things like take a zip file of resumes, extract key information from that, and then create a spreadsheet which ranks candidates by criteria. If you take a look at its website, other use cases listed on its website that could be useful for product teams include things like data analysis, research, and productivity. So if you're interested in keeping up with the latest AI agents that are riding the hype trail, then take a look at Manus. Also this week, Google has added native image generation to its Gemini 2.0 Flash models, and it looks pretty impressive. So you can do things like merge text and image together, edit images using conversational prompts, and something that I've been looking forward to for quite some time is generating legible text within images. So this is something that generative AI has really struggled with so far. And you can even take your own headshot and transform it into a full body shot as well. So Logan Kilpatrick, who is the lead PM at Google on this, says that what makes this unique versus other models is Gemini's broad world knowledge. And speaking of Gemini, Google is finally rolling out something in Gmail which might actually be helpful. So personally, I've never really found the email summarization feature helpful. I don't know if you've ever used it, but to me, it always felt like a strange feature to have. Why would I want to summarize an email when I could just read it with my own eyes? This is a new feature that allows you to extract information from your email and then create a calendar event directly from it. So this is a far more useful application of Gemini versus email summarization, in my humble opinion. Also this week, OpenAI has released a series of new APIs that are designed to help developers and product teams add new AI capabilities to their products. So this includes things like web search, file search, and computer use. So if you're looking at ways to integrate AI capabilities into your own product, then check out this new set of APIs from OpenAI, which make it much easier for product teams to add things like web search and computer use to their applications. Also this week, Sam Altman's other startup, which you may not have heard of, has launched its first mini app store. So this startup was formerly known as WorldCoin and is now simply known as World. And it seeks to become the next everything app, and it plans to roll out a new form of payment method that includes its own native crypto token and a biometric eyeball scanner known as the Orb. So the idea here is that as AI agents start to take over the web, humans will need better ways to verify their humanness, if that's a word. And an eyeball scanning orb is one way to do this. So this week, the company rolled out a mini app store that allows users to pay for items online, which could be the first step towards their ambition of becoming the everything app. And in many ways, World is on a collision course with X as they also seek to build out their own payment capabilities. So this isn't something that's quite ready to add to your payment roadmap plans, but it's definitely something worth keeping an eye on. No pun intended. Meanwhile, Anthropic's CEO says that within 3 to 6 months, AI will write 90% of code. And within 12 months, AI will write all code. Now, clearly, the CEO of Anthropic has a slight vested interest in these types of predictions, but he was speaking at the Council on Foreign Relations, and if you haven't checked this video out, it's probably worth a watch just to see his predictions, which are very interesting. And continuing the theme of AI writing code, AI startup AnySphere this week, which is the parent company of Cursor, is reported to be in discussions to raise money at a $10 billion valuation. So apparently it's currently at a $10 million revenue run rate, and that's just in 12 months. And all of this kind of links back to the theme of AI automating away engineering jobs. And this week I came across this piece, which is by an engineer who quit his job working in big tech because he believes that his role will be automated by the end of 2025. He says that AI will transform traditional software engineering into something akin to a product management role. And from his perspective, he doesn't want to do that role. Over on Substack this week, I take things a step further and take a look at all of the AI coding products that are currently on the market. So I take a look at tools like Cursor, Copilot, Claude, Codium, and a bunch of other products. And I explain the different features that these products offer. So things like chat capabilities, auto-completion, AI agents, and more. but crucially, how this then speeds up development. So if you're interested in learning more about how AI coding tools work and how they can potentially help speed up engineering times, then head over to Substack for that. And the second piece this week is how to understand technical architecture with AI. So if you're new to a company and you want to get up to speed very quickly with the technical architecture of the product that you're working on, then AI can help you in lots of different ways. Now let's take a look at some tools you can use. And first up is something called Browser Use. And we started this briefing with the mention of Manus, and Manus actually is powered by Browser Use. Browser Use lets AI take control of your browser, and it beats other competitors in the space with 89% accuracy versus 87% for operator. And Browser Use offers, so some of the core features that it include things like multi-tab management, so it automatically handles multiple browser tabs, and custom actions. So you can add your own actions like saving information to files, database operations, or human input handling. So if you're interested in automating some tasks from work, then take a look at Browser Use. Next up is a company called Zuni, and continuing the theme of AI in your browser, this is slightly different, but this allows you to add AI to your Chrome sidebar to access all of the latest models, including GPT, DeepSeek, Claude, and more, right from inside your browser. So it's pretty simple in that you just install the extension and then start chatting to it whenever you need to. So the developers behind this have said that they're working on the capabilities for Zuni to get long-term memory. So it will understand who you are, what you're working on, and it will integrate with apps like Gmail, Superhuman, and more. So you can do things like write emails with full contextual awareness. So this is an early version that is backed by Y Combinator, but if you're interested in adding all of the latest AI models directly into your browser, then this could be worth checking out. And finally, Embra is a company co-founded by a Stripe employee, and Embra describes itself as the operating system designed to accelerate product development. So how it does this is it takes notes, writes documents, surfaces insights, and streamlines product development all in one place. So as you can see here, it's designed to be this one-stop operating system that can do things like craft product documents instantly, so PRDs, competitive analysis, and more, plus automatically organize feedback from customers and centralize all of your conversations with users in one place. So if you're looking for alternative ways to manage user feedback and centralize all of your product decision making in one place, then Embra is definitely something worth checking out. Moving on to some data and trends this week, and we start with this, which is a stark reminder of just how quickly things are moving in AI. So if you remember, back in 2024, which was only last year, DALL-E was pretty much the default go-to for image generation. And this week, Poe has released a new report which explains how the market has shifted in just a year. So as you can see from this chart, DALL-E has dropped from 80% at its peak to just over 10% of requests for image generation. And Google's Image Gen 3, along with Flux, are now taking the top spots away from DALL-E. So this report basically breaks down all of the models that are requested by users who access Poe. So it's not necessarily representative of the entire market. It's just from Poe, but it's still an indication of what users are choosing to use. And you can see that for text requests, GPT has lost a little bit of market share, but still remains at a solid 40%, with Claude in second place. And for video, Google's Veo 2 is emerging as a strong challenger to the incumbent Runway. So if you're interested in understanding what models users are choosing, or if you just want to get a deeper understanding of what other models actually exist, then this report from Poe is available on their website and is pretty interesting reading. Another report that I found interesting this week is this report from Payments Intelligence, which is a deep dive into how people pay. So it categorizes users into these different categories like basic tech, mainstream tech, and connected tech, which is basically like a representation of how tech savvy each of these users are. And as you can see, 60% of connected tech consumers have not used cash or checks to make a payment in the last 30 days. But cash usage is rising slightly, as you can see here. Between November and December last year, for both basic tech and mainstream tech users, cash payments have jumped slightly. And a trend which also seems to correlate with this is the declining use of mobile payments for mainstream tech users. As you can see here, in October 2024, 32.8% of mainstream tech users said that they used mobiles for payments, and that has dropped to 25.8%. Now, this could just be a temporary blip, or it could be a sign that cash is undergoing a renaissance. There's been a lot of talk on platforms like TikTok, which promote the use of cash as a way to save money, so perhaps this is having a knock-on effect there. Spotify released its annual Loud and Clear report this week on the music industry, and it says Spotify continues to lead the music industry in payouts with more than $10 billion in distributed royalties in 2024. Some people have questioned these numbers, but Spotify maintains that its payouts are still more than any single company has ever contributed in 1 year. So if you're interested in learning more about how Spotify contributes to the music economy, then take a look at that report. And also this week, Adobe has disappointed its investors with its latest earning report, and AI is to blame. So its stock has dropped dramatically this week after the company generated just $125 million in annual recurring revenue from its AI features. Despite Adobe management's optimism, AI-related revenue accounted for just 2.2% of the first quarter earnings, and it's expected to reach only $250 million for the financial year of 2025, which is just a 1% annual contribution to revenue. So the signs are emerging that the AI hype bubble may be about to burst as more companies start to report their earnings and see that AI isn't the cash cow that perhaps people thought it might be. But that isn't stopping employers from hiring people with AI skills. In this report, you can see that almost 25% of job openings posted this year in the US are seeking employees with AI experience. Now, this is across the board. So this isn't just for tech companies. This is for other industries like administration, warehouse, health and social care, and so on. So this is a big jump in the number of job postings that are looking for AI skills. But despite this, tech unemployment continues to rise. So tech unemployment jumped in February despite the AI hype. This report, based on information from the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, shows that unemployment has jumped from 2% in December back up to 3.3% in February. And finally, we finish with the news that Apple's next major operating system update is reported to bring the biggest design overhaul across its software in years. The update is set to roll out across iPhone, iPad, and Mac operating systems, and it could spark the biggest design changes we've seen in recent years. So if you're somebody who's desperate to see a new version of iOS come to their iPhone, then hold tight for that one. And on that note, thanks very much for listening and watching. I'll be back next week with another briefing.